Alright guys, it has been quite a while since the last Katla Dev Diary, so I've decided to give you guys another video to show what has been going on the server and what kind of progress we have made. So the first thing I'm going to show you is called Imports and Exports, and it takes place at the docks. So I'm going to show you the web part of it first. So what I mean with the web part is if you press F1 in the game, it will bring up the website for Katla. So this is something you will also be able to access from your actual browser. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the market and we're going to choose imports. What we have here is like sort of a shopping list of every single item in the game which you are able to import. So for example, we could say let's say we wanted to look at ammo because we're low on ammo right now. I'm going to want to import submachine gun rounds. I could choose how many I want, add it to a so-called shipment, and this is my overview of sort of like your shopping cart. So what you can do is currently I've selected I want to buy 100 rounds, can obviously change it, and it shows you a pricing. Because imports are a way to get items outside of the game, you pay a little penalty for getting stuff which doesn't already exist in San Andreas. Furthermore, you have to pay an extra fee for getting it delivered. You can choose other delivery locations, like for example the airport, but that will cost you a lot more money. This will probably end up getting your delivery here faster because the airport will be less congested. What we're going to do is we're going to place our order, confirm it, and there we go. Alright, so this is my list of already ordered orders. You can ignore the first ones, these are from previous tests. This is our current order. It says order number is VXTZ975101. It says the current status is dispatched, and when it arrives we'll see it here at the docks. So if you look at the docks, you'll see there's a couple more boats than you would usually see. But in the main game, there's usually a ship here. And as you can actually see, there's currently a ship arriving to the docks. So when you order something online for the imports, it will arrive to the docks with the next ship arriving. This cargo ship will have our ammo on it. So if we currently look in our inventory, we'll see I currently have 60 submachine gun rounds. So this ship will deliver a container which will bring us more of them. So we just hold up a second and wait for the ship to arrive. In a minute the container will show up. Alrighty then, so the ship has docked and has come to a stop, so our shipment should have arrived. So once again, if we go back to the website and refresh the page, all the way to the bottom, we will see our order with our previous order number. If I can find it, this one, VXTZ975101, and it says it has arrived at LS Docks East. So it also gets a container number, which in this case is PN016. It also shows you that it gets removed at, in this case, 2 days from now. What this means is that every shipment that is ordered only stays there for a maximum of 2 days. So if you don't pick it up within that time, it will disappear. So now let's go look for our container. So the issue is currently there is only a couple of containers, but I could imagine that later on in the game there will be quite a couple. That's where the container number comes in play. So as we just saw earlier, the container we're looking for is PN016. So I'm going to look at the containers. Over here we see on the right top corner of the container it says PN016. So we walk up to it and open our inventory. We will see it actually has the machine gun rounds we have requested. Let me move these to my inventory, and now I have more bullets for my weapon. So of course importing will not be your only option to get items. We'll get to that later on in the video. The first thing I'm going to show you is what you can do with all the other import items. Because if we go back to the menu, to the list of items we can import, we see there's stuff like semi-manufactured things, like weapon stocks and machine gun barrels and all that kind of stuff. So this comes in creating items. So what you can do also on the website, for example, we say the AK-47 stock. If you look at it, we can see it is used in a recipe to make something. You can see that the input item, an AK-47 stock and an assault rifle barrel, makes an AK-47. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive to a factory which I've set up, which is actually creating AKs for us. Alright, so we have arrived at our factory, and I'm going to enter it right now. So this is the interior of our factory, and like any interior, it can be furnished. Only some pieces of furniture have an extra functionality inside of a factory. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a machine out of my inventory, which is basically what is used to produce items. And they look like these. As you can see, there's a couple of them already in the right corner of this place. So I'm going to place one of them down, and it works pretty much just like the zip panel, where it uses your cursor position, it can rotate it and all kinds of stuff. So what's special about this machine, it has a couple inventories. On this side, it says it has a machine input. On the other side, it has a machine output. In the middle, it's what's called a blueprint slot. So what we can do is take a blueprint slot and insert a blueprint. In this case, I have an AK-47 blueprint. What that's going to do is going to tell the machine I want to make AK-47s. So if I go here and open the machine details, it now tells me the details of the blueprint that is in there. It says, as an input resource, I need an AK-47 stock and an assault rifle barrel to make an AK-47. So what I'm going to do is going to go over to the input side, take both of my assault rifle barrel and my AK-47 stocks and put them in there. So now if I go back over to the center, it will show me that the input inventory has some stuff in it. And it shows me that it's making progress in creating an AK-47. So the more difficult and more expensive items you put in here, the longer it will take to create it. Once this reaches 100%, the input items will be used up and it will have an AK-47 in the output inventory. So over in this corner I have a machine that has been running for a little bit longer, so we can see that it's already got quite a lot of AKs in its output. It's still using the AK-47 blueprint like the other one, and it has the same inputs. So as you can see, it's already at 28.6% unlike the other one. So what we can see is that in this case, the input has quite a lot more than the other machine I've just placed has, and that shows up in this screen as well. So in this case, the machine is currently at 32%, but I'm just going to take one of the AKs out of here that I produced earlier and put it into the output of the machine. So now what you will see is that it is no longer running because the output of the inventory is too full to be able to run because it cannot put another AK in it. So you are going to have to look after your machines to make sure they're not running out of input or their output doesn't fill up too much as well. So this way you can create items which are worth more than their input counterpart. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to show you guys is what you can do with the stuff you have produced. So for this example, I'm just going to take one of the AK-47s out of this and we're going to go to another place. Where we're going to is one of the stores you can set up. So what you can do with your products that you have created, you can either choose to export them. In case of export, that means you get a little bit less money than it's actually worth. This is to to encourage players to sell their stuff to other players instead of exporting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to a store I have set up, which of course you can also set up yourself by just buying your furniture and placing it in there. Right, so I have arrived at the store and now we're going to go inside of it. So this is the building in question and I'm going to enter the interior, and this is what the store looks like from the inside. The store does not belong to me though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the other player you see in the store and show you what it's like from his perspective. Alright, so I'm currently looking at it from the perspective of the other player, of the owner of this store. So what you can do as the owner, you can walk up to your inventories and you can access them and put items into it. For example, this is what I'm currently carrying with me, and this is what's in here. So I can choose to put all of my items in here, and this will be your basis of what you will be able to sell inside of your store. So what you can do is you walk up to your cash register, and your prompt is to set the pricing of all of your items. So these are the items that are currently in the inventories in this building, and I can choose for how much I want to sell them, if I want to sell them at all. For example, I'm currently selling RPGs for 1,000, which is quite steep. So I could imagine that I want to change the price. I'm going to say I'm going to sell RPGs for 800 instead. I could also say I have screwdrivers in them, currently not for sale, but I want to sell those too. And for how much I'm going to sell them, I'm going to sell them for 50 bucks each. Instead of miscellaneous, you can give it a section or a category. I'm going to say its category is tools because a screwdriver is a tool. Once you're finished setting all this stuff up, you can click the save button, and it will prompt you that your settings have been saved. So now I'm going to go switch back to the view of the other player. And from here we will see if we walk up to the same cash register, you can access the store. And this shows me the categories that were set up earlier. So if I look at weaponry, you will see I will be able to buy an RPG-7 for the $800 earlier specified. So I'm clicking that, and I have bought an RPG, and you can see it also appears on my back. You can also choose to buy a screwdriver, which is in here, bought one for $50. Try to buy one again, buy a couple of them, and it will notify you that the item is out of stock. Because what you might have seen earlier whilst I checked the inventory, there were 3 screwdrivers in it, and we have bought them all now. So if I were to switch back to the view of the owner of the store, you will now see that if I walk back to this inventory, there are no more screwdrivers in, and also our RPG is gone. In the meantime, the organization of the owner, or the organization that owns the store, has received the money for it. So this is one of the ways you could earn money in the game. I guess that will do it for this video. Once we have more news to tell you about, we will probably make another Dev Diary. But that's it for now.